defenseman from the San Jose Sharks, Brent Burns. He'll be joining our session in just a couple of moments. Linebacker for the Chicago Bears here today, Roquan Smith. Thanks all of you for coming here today. We're looking forward to today's chat. Evan, Roquan, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing well. I appreciate you guys having me, and I'm excited to be here today. And definitely wish we were all together, but we're gonna make the most out of it.
Same for me, doing well. Extremely happy to be here. Excited for you guys to meet you guys virtually via Zoom. So looking forward to a good time.
Well, more on our guests. Evan Engram is one of the best tight ends in the entire National Football League. He was drafted out of Ole Miss in the first round of the 2017 NFL Draft by the Giants. He holds several rookie records, and he continues to build his NFL resume. He's already surpassed 2,000 receiving yards in only 4 years of NFL action. Evan, tell us a little bit about that journey with the students, if you have anything else to say to them.
Definitely. It's a blessing to be a New York Giant and to be in the NFL and just all the hard work paying off. I know a lot of these students and a lot of you guys are working your butts off too to accomplish your goals and to get to where you want to be in life. So I always kind of stood by just hard work paying off, and I'm definitely glad to be here today and share part of my story.
Well, Evan, that's really great. Thank you for being here. Great to have Brent Burns joining us from the San Jose Sharks. He is one of the best defensemen and a good friend of mine from the San Jose Sharks organization, won the Norris Trophy a couple of years ago in 2017, a finalist in 2 other years, 2016 and 2019. For those of you who don't know what the Norris Trophy is, that's the trophy given by the National Hockey League to the best defenseman in the National Hockey League. He's dynamic offensively. He's a great defensive player for the Sharks and one of the most exciting players in the game. He's been selected as an All-Star 6 times. Burnsy, great to have you with us. Say hello to everybody.
Yeah, you forgot to mention I'm not very good with computers, so sorry about that delay there. Is it working now?
You're good.
Oh, nice. Okay, let me hang up the phone there. I get all the technical help here trying to get on here. What's going on, guys? Sorry for the delay. Happy to be here. Ruse, good to see you.
Good to see you. We have Roquan Smith also here, an incredible linebacker for the Chicago Bears. And Roquan came out of the University of Georgia as the 8th pick in the first round of the 2018 NFL Draft, an SEC champion and a most valuable player. He's translated that success to the NFL football field with over 300 tackles and 9 sacks in just 3 years of action. Say hello to everybody, Roquan.
Hello, guys.
We're going to be asking these special guests a few questions today focused on STEM, sports careers, and we're also going to ask them about diversity in sports. After the panel discussion and student questions, we're going to conclude with a trivia game, so everybody can participate in that, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. Once again, thanks to our guests for taking the time to be with us here today. We really appreciate the fact that you're taking the time, because the thing that you give the most to people is your time, and that's most appreciated. So we are going to go right to some questions. First things first, we will ask Evan first to answer this question, then we'll move on to Brent and Roquan. Statistics and performance data play an important role in sports. How do you use sports data to improve your performance? Evan, we'll start with you.
Sports data is a huge part. I know definitely for football and a lot of other sports. I know we use things as a team, tracking our workloads each week, tracking our speeds on the field, and we even have things to help track our sleep as well, to kind of keep up with our recovery. So it's a big part of our performance, monitoring our bodies and the type of work we're putting in each week to make sure that we're able to perform at our highest level on game day.
Burnsy, I know you're one of the most detailed players in the entire National Hockey League. How do you use sports data to improve your performance?
It's come a long way, even the last 5-6 years, all the data and the computers, the tracking, like Evan was saying, the sleeping, the recovery part is becoming so important. As I've gotten older, I keep track of all my workouts each year to make sure that I'm maintaining everything and I'm coming in at either the same shape or better than the previous years. As I've gotten older, I think that's become more important. I don't know if I'd want to work out with these two guys. They'd probably embarrass me, but it's all those things off ice and on ice. It's becoming so important to track, especially with this year, with the amount of time off between years and between games. I can at least look at numbers and see that I'm still on track and doing a good job of training to make sure I'm ready to go, hopefully soon here.
That's a bit of an advice for the two younger guys in this panel. Roquan, one of those. Why don't you let us know how you use sports data to improve your performance?
For sure. Yeah, I feel like sports data is definitely very important in our games, whether it's the NFL or the NHL, especially in professional sports when the talent level is very high, as we all know. So in the areas that are, when going into different games, in the areas of our competition, whatever they're like excelling at, in order for us to remain at the top of our game, I feel we have to try to go into the matchup and try to eliminate the things that our opponents excel at. So I think that's huge, and I think data, it speaks a lot into our game.
One of the things that I think is coming out of all of these answers to this question for all the students that are watching this virtually is that being a professional athlete is quite a job. It's not just having fun, but it's also a profession. It's something you have to dedicate your life to. And all of these guys do that on a very high level, at the highest league level that they have in their sport each and every day. And that's a 12-month-a-year thing. Second question is, how have you seen technology evolve the equipment that you use in your individual sport? Let's start with Burnsy.
Yeah, like I said, it's come a long way. I mean, I'm a big believer in tracking my runs and my sleep. I wear that Whoop strap now that so I'm tracking everything. My weight, which is scary sometimes. For I battle that a little bit, so that number can grow and get scary. And like I said, that those are things that even when you're away from the game, they allow you to be a part of it and to see where you're at, to know where you're going. And like I said before, we've been away from hockey for 10 months now, and I know the guys in football, they have like the 40-yard dash and all that stuff. Like in hockey, it's a little different because we don't have the stops and the starts so much, but we do the laps to see where we're at, the numbers of laps to see if we can make it, first of all, to see if the heart doesn't explode. And then, the weight is a big thing for me too. I know I got to come in at a certain time or a certain place on my weight, and then it's going to drop as the season goes. So, now I think it's just technology has made those things a lot easier. Before it was, maybe take a picture, see what you looked like, and try to get that back the next year. Now it's all data driven, and you just have to pull open the computer and see where you're at for different workouts, different recovery patterns, see how your heart rate was getting down after a minute of certain things. And it's just, technology's made that stuff easier.
Well, it even gets beyond that too, Burnsy, doesn't it? The sticks aren't made of wood anymore. Everything is lighter. Everything is stronger. Isn't it designed for optimal success?
Yeah, I mean, the consistency in our sticks is a huge difference. I remember guys getting wood sticks and maybe using 2 out of 24. Now you don't even think about your stick. They're all going to be the same, with the carbon fiber and the technology of making those. And you can get a difference between 10 and 30 grams now in between your sticks, where before it was, what telephone pole did they use to make that stick is going to be a big difference. So it's definitely come a long way.
I'm sure we've seen a lot of those evolutions in football too. Roquan, maybe you can address that, how technology has evolved since you started playing.
For sure. I feel like I came into this sport during the technology evolution, and I continue to see it grow each and every day, and which is like pretty amazing. And I feel like, just to hit on a few things in particular, I feel like the data that is drawn from like the different mechanisms that are placed in our helmets, shoulder pads, and things of that nature just like speaks for itself. And like just having tracking devices is pretty amazing.
So is that what most of it is a tracking, or are you guys getting like tracked on like the forces and stuff? Are they doing that kind of stuff with you guys?
Yeah, they definitely do have that type stuff that they have placed in your shoulder pads. So it's pretty amazing when you really look at it and how much science goes into it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing what they're doing. Evan, what do you have to add to this discussion?
Yeah, I mean, to piggyback on what Roquan said, just tracking speeds and tracking force of hits and distance traveled, is crazy. And for me, I think the biggest thing, obviously, I'm kind of a younger player like Roquan, with kind of coming into the league during this technology evolution. My biggest thing is seeing all the different types of recovery options that we have now. I mean, even when I was in college, it was kind of just like, all right, like jump in the cold tub for 10 minutes and that was your recovery. But now, I mean, they have light beds that have these different type of UV lights that will promote recovery. There's all this type of massage, like stem machines that are used to help target like different areas of inflammation on your body, and even like the Whoop band, and I have a Aura ring that tracks sleep and deep sleep and REM sleep and light sleep, and it tells you how many times you're waking up, and it tells you your heart rate during your sleep. I think that's the biggest jump that I've kind of seen in technology. Is obviously as I'm getting older and being more of a veteran player, my body needs to recover better, and keeping track with that is really kind of easy now.
Sounds like a lot of information. Do you think, Evan, that it can be overwhelming at times? You have to keep it in proper perspective.
Definitely, and I think, and I know our teams and our training staffs and our coaches, they do a good job of kind of being the experts at that stuff. We definitely have a lot of information on our plate, but I know our training staff, and I'm pretty sure the Bears and the Sharks do as well. They really kind of just keep us informed, and kind of help dull it out a little bit, because it is a lot of information, a lot of complicated things sometimes.
Great answers, guys. We're going to move on to our next question, and that is, how important is it to you to have teammates or coaches of diverse backgrounds, and what makes that special? We'll start with Roquan.
For sure. Yeah, I think that's very important, and it's special because I get to learn so much about different cultures and like tradition of others throughout the locker room and just throughout the league. So I think it speaks volume, and it's very important.
Burnsy?
I mean, obviously hockey's in a different position. I think traditionally it's spreading out more in the world now, and you'll see a lot of different cultures come in and different languages, and that's always, I think that's one of the best parts about it, is seeing how these different European guys have grown up, their different traditions, their different meals, their different ways of getting around. And I think in hockey right now, I think we're facing an important time where it's getting more important to have that diversity and bringing up more cultures and making sure people are comfortable in that. And I think it's just changing, and it's a good thing. I think the more you learn and the more you're around, you're only going to help yourself grow. So that's a good thing. Hopefully we bring in some dentists, and then maybe I can get some help in that department there, Rus.
I don't know. I think you want to leave the image the way it is, at least until the career is over. But
I forgot that part in our hockey world.
Oh, definitely. Evan, what's your thought on the importance of having teammates and coaches from different to diverse backgrounds, and what does that mean to you, and what makes it special?
Yeah, it means a lot to me. I think Whenever you have different types of people coming together, especially in a team setting like football and hockey, it's important not only having success as a team, but really it's important to how we advance socially as people. And I think it's special because in the team sports like we play, it requires everybody to come together, no matter what color your skin is, or where you're from, or where you grew up, or how tall or how big. There's so many different types of people, and especially on teams, it's imperative that everybody come together towards one goal. And when you do that, everything else kind of grows from it. Friendships and growing together and growing as people. It kind of just all works out together.
One thing I'd like to add to what all these
too, because I think at the start of sports, we all play sports because it's going to make us grow as people, and we learn so many important lessons through sports that we never really started to play pro. I think that just is an added bonus, but you play at it and you remember all those good times as a kid, having the good fun sleepovers, and your best friends were through sports. And so the more people you can be around and the more cultures you can learn about, it's just, you think about people that travel and how much that benefits them and how much they learn and how much it makes them a more well-rounded person. I think at the start of sports, that's what sports is about too. So the more you can be around, the better it'll be, and the more fun you'll have within that sport.
That's a great thing, Brent. And the other thing too that I'd like to add to that, from the hockey perspective, we have one view of the diversity that's certainly in the locker room, but with people from all different backgrounds coming together. It's the same in the NFL. Everybody becomes teammates, becomes friends, gets to share and understand each other. But I think that it's beyond that, beyond the locker room. It's beyond the hockey office or the football office. It's in the stands too. Silicon Valley is a very diverse place. And so we have all different people from all different backgrounds that might not agree on everything, but do get together for that hockey game, that do get together in the Bay Area for a 49ers game, or in New York for a Giants game, or Chicago, Bears, Blackhawks, et cetera. And you're on the same plane. You're talking about the same thing, and you're actually happy talking about it. And it's a way to bridge a lot of differences that maybe aren't so different anymore. It's one of the really great things I think that sports brings to everybody. I want to move on to the next question. This is a kind of time for a fun one. Given that we're currently still in quarantine, what's been a recent skill or talent that you've picked up or want to learn during the time that you haven't been able to play or get out or do everything that you want to do? Let's start with Evan.
I'm definitely in the off season and before the season started, we had a lot of quarantine time. So that was obviously training and big video game guy. But I actually bought a guitar and I tried it. My hands are really big and my fingers are really fat. So it was definitely something that was very tough to learn. I think I maybe got like a couple tips down or I was teaching myself off YouTube. But I didn't really make it that far. But when I go back home and it's still sitting in my room back home in Georgia, I'm probably gonna have to pick it back up and try again.
Who's your favorite guitarist?
I've seen a couple videos recently on Jimi Hendrix. So yeah, so I'll never ever get to that level. I mean, he's playing it behind his head with his tongue is crazy, with his teeth. I'll definitely will never get to that level.
Brent, I know that you have a lot of diverse interests. How have you acquired new skill and talents while you've been during this NHL pause?
Yeah, I don't know about you boys, but we stopped early. So we stopped playing in March. So it's been a long break for us. So it's and I spend my off season in Texas. I've got a ranch here. So I love to cook. I'm a big barbecue guy. Probably 10, 12 years ago, I did pick up the guitar too. So Evan, I can feel your pain in that. That's no joke, that guitar thing. That first 6 months is awful. The fingers crush you. But once you get the chords down, it gets a lot easier. But yeah, I spend a lot of time on the ranch here, so just picking up rocks, hunting, and grilling. That's been a silver lining for this. I've got 3 kids too, so a lot of family time. I'm helping my son's team. I'm an assistant coach for his team, and watching my daughter do gymnastics, and we got the 2-year-old at home too. So keeping her alive, because that's a full-time task too. So it's we've had 10 months of nothing, but it's been busy every day. So and staying in shape. That's with the big gap. That's even more important for us. With all this good Texas beer and barbecue, that's been a full task too. So it's training and enjoying the ranch life.
Yeah, but it's not just Texas beer and barbecue, Burnsy. You've also had a habit over the last couple of years of raising your own meat. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, we got a little ranch here with a bunch of exotic animals and breeding programs there with that and deer. And usually I'm already back home, so I've been pretty blessed to be able to go on an elk hunt. Didn't see an elk. It was more of a camping trip and a hiking trip, but was on that. And whitetail season now. I don't know if you guys hunt at all, but I think Georgia's got a pretty good hunting with deer there, and hogs too. There are a lot of hogs there, so it's a full-time task for us here. And I think it's been important for us to show the kids the other side of that, and knowing where our food comes from, and gardening, and it's been fun.
Roquan, tell us about some of the skills that you've been acquiring during the course of the pause leading into the season that you're playing now.
Not many for sure, but definitely if I had to say one, I would say cooking. I've definitely been doing a lot more cooking before like the season and during quarantine and things of that nature. So like I expanded upon those skills a good bit.
Do you
what kind
think
of cooking you getting into? Like more in the house or grilling, or?
More in the house for sure, on the stove top. Nothing too crazy, like more like steak, chicken, salmon, your basics, but enough to make it look nice.
Nice.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, guys, for all of your answers. We've got some questions, too, coming up with the students participating, and we're going to start asking those in a minute. But I hope that everybody that's watching this takes some of these words of advice from our special guests to heart, because they're telling you what it's like to be at the highest level of their professional sport and what they have to do with their lives and the commitment that they need to make. But that also applies to everybody's life, to make sure that you have goals and objectives, to make sure that you use technology, and to make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on around you. We've gotten some questions ahead of time, so we picked a few of the questions from the students to answer. Question number 1. This is from Kamaria, and she wants to ask, what inspired you to become an athlete and to become a professional? Let's start with Roquan.
I would say from an early age for myself, growing up in a small town, very small town, population maybe like 1,500 or so, just like not really having much to do. And then like a lot of the guys and people that you looked up to participated in sports. So it just like you kind of grew an itch for it. And after that, pretty much started playing at such a young age and never looked back. And that was all she wrote.
Brent, how about you?
Yeah, I grew up in a smaller kind of farm town in Canada. So and up there, hockey is kind of everything. I assume it's very similar to, the kids here in Texas with football. I mean, football is everybody's. You go to the high school games, and you got the college games, and you got the NFL games. It's such a big part of the culture, and you spend those 3 days watching those games, and then the next 4 days talking about them, getting ready for the next week. So, for me, I grew up in a hockey family. So a lot of our time was watching hockey, talking about the Leafs, and then I just fell in love with the sport, and it was a way for me it was my first experience kind of meeting friends and and growing up and having the fun times. And I just fell in love with the sport. I loved it ever since. I loved the hard parts of it, the training as I got older, and everything that came with it. So it's just been a huge part of my life ever since I can remember.
Evan, tell us about your inspiration to be an athlete as a professional.
Yeah, I mean, literally, my dad threw me on the football field when I was 5 years old. Big, clumsy kid that threw me on the offensive line, and definitely just my parents being athletes in college, and just I think their aura around me and the way they raised my sister and I, we just kind of just fell in love with the sport. So it was always on TV, and it was something I always kind of wanted to grow up and play elite college ball and make it to the NFL. So definitely football. I mean, I played baseball and basketball, but football is definitely my first love. And as the years got on, years came along, you know, I just continue to get better. I continue to understand what it takes to be good, and put a lot of hard work in, and still having fun at the same time, and it all just kind of paid off.
You know, there's a lot of interesting topics that are in that answer you gave, Evan, and it kind of leads into the second question. So we'll start with you on this one. Samaya wanted to know, what steps did you take to actually achieve your goals, and do you wish that you could have done more or anything differently during the process? And I relate that to what you just said, because a lot of people say that that you do gain a lot from playing a couple of different sports, but eventually you have to choose one. But give us an idea of the steps that you took to achieve the goals of being a professional athlete and playing in the NFL. And are there any things out there that you might have wanted to change?
Yeah, I mean, I think as you grow along, I think like in Pound Ball or Pop Warner, it's more of kind of just this love of the game, fun, you know, just kind of go out there each year and just play ball with your friends. But as you kind of get higher up in middle school, and then you start playing high school ball, and you're starting to want to kind of get college offers and go to the next level. I think for me, it took a lot of sacrifice. You know, so a lot of my friends didn't really want to play sports, so they were doing things and hanging out and having a lot of fun, which is good. But for me, what I wanted to accomplish, you know, I had to sacrifice some of those things and some of those times to work out or to get sleep or to get ready for a game. And that kind of just kind of took care of itself. Just kind of holding myself to a high standard of putting the work in and trying to find ways to get better, and all the way through college. Even in college, you know, playing the SEC, play the Ole Miss. We're playing the best of the best every week. So it took a lot of work. It took a lot of preparation, and it took a lot of sacrifice. And, you know, I honestly, I wouldn't change anything. I think everything happens for a reason, and things happen in our lives that, you know, are good or bad, and it molds us to who we are. So I think if I went back in time, honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. I've been really blessed.
Brent, the hockey player's role is a little bit different in terms of the development process. You can go to college hockey. Some of your teammates certainly have, but you had a different route. You picked major junior hockey, and that involved a variety of commitments and things. But what other steps did you take during the process of becoming an NHL player? Is there anything that you would like to change from that experience?
Yeah, I mean, Evan's answer is pretty perfect for us too. It's obviously a different sport and a different way of going. I would have said the only thing it's not a regret or anything, or I always missed out, I think, on that really cool college, that brotherhood. I always, you know, when we, like with Pavs, when I played with Pavelski, he went to University of Wisconsin, and we could be at dinner on the road, and somebody will have like a Wisconsin ring on, and these guys will talk the whole night. And you're like, you guys don't even know each other. It's crazy. But they have that instant brotherhood, and I never had that. I couldn't even tell you what my high school colors were. I don't even know if they had teams, or, you know, we always played outside of it. So, yeah, it started from a passion, and ended up working out. I think the only thing, and I would assume all of us are the same, that you don't really start out to to play in the NFL or NHL. It's just, we loved playing our sport and had our best friends there, and we enjoyed the work. I mean, I've worked out with a couple of football guys, and it is like incredible, their dedication and the things they can do with their bodies. I mean, it's crazy. I always say that those guys are in so much better shape than we are. We gotta kind of maintain a decent shape for our whole season, and just get beat up every other day or every third day, and you know, ice from the inside and out to kind of make it through. But when we do our workouts with the football guys, and it's like, I'm kind of embarrassed to go under the squat rack and do our workouts compared to them. It's you know, it's just different, but it's very similar in the way that it just comes from the passion and then going through, and I wouldn't change anything either. I'm pretty blessed to be here at this time, and just I've loved all the steps, the good and the bad.
Roquan, tell us about your journey.
For sure. To piggyback off of some of those guys, I feel as if there was a lot of things that helped me get to where I am today. A lot of hard work, listening to my adults, peers who had the best advice for me, and teachers as well. And I think it was just a combination of many things, and just also never giving up or giving in to any type of situation or circumstance, and always trying to make the most of each and every opportunity that I had.
Outstanding. Stacy would like to ask a very important question, which is difficult to answer for some. How do you stay focused and motivated during the course of a season? Because it can be a real grind, whether you play 16 NFL games or 82 NHL games. It's really, really difficult. Let's start with Brent Burns on that one. How do you stay focused, and how do you stay motivated during the tough times?
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest learning experience as you get older, and as you kind of naturally get, I would say, kind of more distractions too with kids and a family. It's just something you have to do. I mean, everybody's the same. Everybody, whether you're a CEO of a company, you're a teacher, you have other things that are going on, but that's your job. You have to do it. And I think that's kind of where the technology has really helped us in that way. I have no excuse to not be in shape from where I've been in the past, because I have it all in the technology. I have it recorded. I know what it is. I know where I have to get to. So you just got to do it. And I think we've all been in the same boat where we were able to sacrifice certain things to make sure we get to where we have to be. And yeah, I think technology has helped in that way. And we have that natural inclination to do that already, and to work and push ourselves to places that we have to be, to know that we have to be there to be successful.
Alejandro wants to know what the key is to winning, in your opinion. Let's start with Roquan.
I would say the key is the winning. Everyone's will have like different opinions, but I feel like it's about, for my sport, there's 11 people on the field on one side of the ball, so 22 total. And I just feel like, speaking from my side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, I feel like it's just all 11 just doing their job to the best of their ability, and not taking no for an answer, and just relentless effort for like every single play that you're out there. And I feel like if you can do that in any facet of your life, whether that's football, school, or anything, I feel like then good things will happen.
Brent, tell us what your key to winning is.
I'm still trying to figure it out. It's been 16 years, and we're still trying to get to that top of the mountain. You know, I think it takes a lot of work. It takes sacrifice. It takes coming together as a team. It takes, in our sport, and I'm sure in the NFL it would be similar, it does take a certain level of luck or magic to come together as a team. I was a part of a team that we lost in the finals. And, you know, the first 3 rounds we had the magic, and it just felt really, really special. And then the finals, we came across a really good team, and that magic just kind of, we seemed to lose it, and we couldn't get it back, and that momentum was gone. So, I mean, I think you do everything you can individually, and then you come together as a team, and it's tough. It's hard to do, and you have to capture something that we're still trying to capture in San Jose.
Evan, tell us about your key to winning.
Yeah, both of those answers are huge. I think back to kind of what Roquan said. I mean, in our sports, and there's 11 guys on the field on each side of the ball, and I think the key to winning is holding standard and holding a culture that's going to be able to stand the hard times, going to be able to stand the tough days or the losses. And also remain humble and remain hungry and still want to get better, even in the hard times and the win. So I think it's all about just a standard that teams set that has to be lived out and executed each and every day.
Part of the challenge that every athlete has to go through, aside from the grind, aside from the mental toughness, aside from the preparation, is dealing with injuries and dealing with when things don't go quite as well as you expect. And I thought I would ask this question from Rihanna, who wants to know, with that in mind, have you ever felt like quitting? And have you ever had to fight that urge? And if so, how did you overcome it? Start with Evan.
I'll never say that I've had an urge to quit and give up. That was something that my mom and dad instilled in me at a very young age. You start something, you're going to finish it. And so there are definitely hard times. There are bad games. There's bad plays that happen that you just, as a competitor and as a hardworking athlete, that you know what you're capable of, and you get upset when you don't perform the way you want to. But I think the important thing when times like that happen is to be able to look at the hard time, look at the struggle, and find ways to improve. For me, anytime there's a bad game or anytime there's a bad play, there's always something that I could have done better. And I think that's the biggest thing, to have a clear mind, a clear perspective when times get hard, to do the right things to get it back on track.
Roquan, how have you dealt with that challenge when it felt really low? And have you ever felt like giving it up?
To be perfectly honest, I've never really been in that state to whereas I thought about giving up and things like that. I think when I start something, I was always taught when you start something, you finish it regardless of the circumstances. And I signed up for it. And it's this game that I'm playing. It's a kid's game that I'm blessed to be able to do. And being able to do that, I just never really let that thought get into my head to whereas I want to do this or do that, because it's just tremendously an honor for me to be in the position that I'm in. So I don't think I can ever let my mind get clouded by some adversity or any things that will make me like second guess on whether or not I still want to play this game.
I'm pretty sure that Burns, you'll answer the question the same way, but maybe Brent, you could also address that to a young person that might feel that at a certain point in their life, and what you might say to them.
Yeah, I'm going to need those two to record that answer, because I need to listen to that more often. That was I think for us it's like, yeah, you finish it, and I think the test is like every day. If I've got to do a workout, I probably don't really want to do it, but you're going to do it. So you have to enjoy that hard times. You have to enjoy I think the difference between a lot of the top guys is that they really enjoy that challenge. They look at it as a good thing. And the more they struggle with it and the more difficult it is the better they feel after, the better they feel going through it. They look at those times. I've always been told like the first 6 reps of something are easy. Everybody can do those. It's like if you can push yourself after those, when you don't want to go, nobody else does either. So you got to push through. That's the only way you're going to get better. And yeah, I think, I was listening to a podcast with a Navy SEAL the other day too, and he just said, like, quitting was never an option. If you take that off the table, you're never going to quit. So, yeah, I think it's always the inner battle of your brain is always going to tell your body it doesn't want to do it, but your body can usually get through it. So keep going, just keep pushing. You never really know how strong your body can be. And usually the only fun things and things that you feel good about accomplishing are the difficult ones. So just try to stay positive, play tricks on your mind, and push through it.
Before we move on in our program, we do have one last comment, which is really more of a comment, not a question. But apparently a couple of the people in our virtual meeting today, EJ and Joel from Future Ready Prep, are really big New York Giants fans. So Evan, you want to say hello to those guys and any message for them?
What's up, guys? Definitely appreciate the support. We're working hard, we're having fun, and we're making a little playoff push. So y'all keep supporting. We're gonna get some big wins.
I got to tell you, Evan, I go back growing up not too far from New York City, back when the days when Bob Tucker was the tight end for the Giants. So that goes back a few generations, but keep up the legacy.
Definitely.
All right, great questions by all the students. We really appreciate all of our panelists for taking the time to answer them and everybody to submit them too. We appreciate that. Right now, though, we have a really amazing surprise for 3 schools on today's call. On behalf of SAP and all of our special guests, we are rewarding Kelly High School, Independence High School, and Future Ready Prep with a $5,000 technology grant to use for their school. Congratulations, and thank you so much for participating today, for utilizing the STEM program. I'd like to get some virtual claps out all the way around for those 3 schools. Congratulations to Kelly High School, Independence High School, and Future Ready Prep. Great job, everybody. That's fantastic. Well, last but not least, we have put together a final student trivia challenge that our special guests will also participate in. And I think that you're going to see that on your screen right now. We're looking forward to testing everyone's knowledge on STEM and sports. The game is pretty simple. Question and answer, and a Zoom pop-up will come up for each question for you to select your answer's choice. If you're joining as a classroom, use a piece of paper to write down your answers. All right, here's our first question right now. We'll start with an easy one. Make sure you're paying attention. True or false? STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. Is it true or is it false? As we know, the answer is true. Question number 2. We're going to get a little harder now. Which of these is the smallest unit of matter? A, atoms, B, molecules, C, droplets, or D, vapor? Think carefully. The answer is, that's right, atoms. Question number 3. What tennis player was the second African-American woman to ever win the U.S. Open? Is it A, Venus Williams, B, Sloane Stephens, C, Naomi Osaka, or D, Serena Williams? the answer is D, Serena Williams. You could have picked her sister, but nope, Serena is the woman. Question number 4. This is one that's a little personal here. In Roquan Smith's rookie season, he had 89 solo tackles, 33 assisted, and 5 sacks in 16 games. Great output, Roquan. Through 13 games in 2020, he has 85 solos, 37 assisted, and 4 sacks. How many tackles and sacks is Roquan away from surpassing his rookie season? A, 25, B, 2, C, 15, or D, 1? And the answer is 16. Question 5. The blank process is a series of steps that takes a product from an idea to a final product. The blank process. Fill in the blank. Is it A, design, B, engineering, C, build, or D, digital? And the answer is design. Question number 6. A referee holding a puck between 2 skaters before a face-off is an example of what? A, potential energy, or B, kinetic energy? I think we might say it depends on who the official is. Is it potential or kinetic? And the answer is, as you see, potential energy. When he actually drops the puck and the puck is falling, that's kinetic. Question number 7. What are the colors of the Olympic rings? This is an interesting one. If you have a black and white TV, which we used to have when I was growing up, you wouldn't know, but the possibilities are either A, yellow, black, purple, red, and blue, B, red, green, blue, pink, and yellow, C, blue, yellow, black, green, and red, or D, all gold? And the answer is blue, yellow, black, green, and red. Outstanding. Question 8. Does a puck have greater friction when sliding across concrete or an ice surface? The answer is A, concrete, or B, ice surface. Greater friction. Interesting. The answer is A, concrete. All right. This is a question of whether you listened to the early part of our virtual session today. What college did Evan Engram play for? A, Missouri, B, Mississippi State, or C, Ole Miss, and D, LSU? I can see Evan grimacing at the colleges that he didn't play for while looking at this. Well, the answer is, as you see, Ole Miss. A lot of people like Ole Miss. Great tradition there, and Evan's part of that. Got a bonus question for you. An NFL or NHL research and development analyst is responsible for what? A, reviewing player stats. B, presenting data to help coaches. C, comparing data for lineup decisions, drafts, and trades, or D, all of the above? What do you think? If you're in the NHL and you're in research and development and you're an analyst, or the NFL for that matter, what are you doing? The answer is D, all of the above, and that is one busy job. One thing you don't get a lot of in that job is sleep, I can tell you that, because they're getting ready for the next game, the next draft, the next trade that might be made, the next decision you might make. All of the above is part of what those guys do. Well, great game, everybody. I hope you all learned from all these new things, brushed up on some old topics that you have forgotten about, but also, most importantly, got a chance to spend some time with three fantastic athletes. And before we wrap up today, let's have a major virtual clap again for our special guest that took the time to speak with you today. And give yourself a round of applause, too, for participating today. Let's take one screenshot, guys, and let's make sure you all smile. And before we wrap things up, I'd just like to ask each of the guys to give a message to the students and teachers that are watching today. If you have anything that you'd like to say to them, let's start with Evan.
First of all, just thank you for having me. Such great questions and a lot of good knowledge that even I learned today. And, my advice to everybody is obviously stay safe during these times and check up on your family, check up on your loved ones. And no matter what is going on, just continue to work hard, continue to stay the course, find something you want to get better at and attack it each and every day. So again, thank y'all for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Evan. Roquan, any final thoughts?
For sure. I would just like to say thank you guys for having me. I really enjoyed it. It was a great time. And also, like Evan said, during this pandemic, good thing vaccines are coming right now. Just stay safe, guys, and wishing you guys all the best and whatever you guys decide to do in your futures. I'm sure it'll be great things.
Brent Burns, I know you have a few things you'd like to say to the group.
No, thanks for having me. Sorry for being late. I need to go back to school. That's what happens when you don't go to college. You don't know how to turn on the Zoom meeting. So thanks for having me. It was great chatting with you guys. Yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, your friends, your family, and whatever you guys are doing, just make sure it's something you enjoy and do it to the best of your ability, and stay strong. Don't give up and keep pushing through. Always good to see you, Russ.
Oh, absolutely great to see you, Brent. And we'll see you sooner than later, I'm sure, once we figure out exactly how the NHL season is going to get started. I'd like to thank Evan Engram, Brent Burns, and Roquan Smith for all of their time today and all of your time today as well. And I must say that all of us can learn from these three incredible athletes about what incredible commitment that they put into their lives, into their families, and also into their careers. But the one thing they also do is they make sure that they have fun and they enjoy themselves. And I would say that they found what their special talent was in life. And each one of you that's watching today has a special talent. And that's what you find out during your schooling years, whether it's on the playing field, on the ice, or inside the classroom. You're going to learn a lot of things about yourself and what you want out of life. And I think that that's something that is really important to contemplate as we get through the year 2020 and look forward to a great 2021. On behalf of SAP, I'd like to thank all of you. I'd like to say happy holidays, happy new year, and all the best. So long, everyone.